Welcome back, it's me, Lou. Alright, so today we're going to jump into the time machine and travel way back to the early 1980s as we take a look at this Masters of the Universe Zoar, the Fighting Falcon. He fights for He-Man. Alright, so right off the bat, I'm never 100% sure how to pronounce his name. I'm not sure if it's Zor or, as I sometimes say, Zoar. So if I'm wrong in his pronunciation, please correct me in the comments below. I don't want to go through the rest of my life mispronouncing this name of this cool toy. All right, so what are we looking at? We are taking a look at Zoar. Now this is really old. This is like OG Masters of the Universe. This is like from 1982. I bought this maybe like I want to say at least 3 years ago. I bought it this secondhand at a collectible toy shop. This figure was beat to hell. The wings were all bent and warped. His little perch was all bent and warped. As you can see here, the box, the letter A was like cut out. I'm not sure if it's because this is where a price tag was, or if this was where the proof of purchase was. But I remember when I saw this in the store, I think it was going for like $30. And for me, I'm not sure, I didn't do any research, so I didn't know if I was paying too much for it or if I got a good deal. All I know is that I needed Zoar for my collection, and it looked to be complete, and it just looked like it needed some tender loving care to bring it, back to like a displayable condition. So I bought it, brought it home, fixed it up, and here we are. The old packaging is beautiful. I love this illustration of Zoar. It looks amazing. He has his talons out and he's swooping down. You see He-Man fighting with Skeletor, and you see Grayskull in the background. Over here we see this little boy. He's pretty stoked to have Zoar. He has Zoar perched on his fingers. And here are some of the play features. You can make the wings flap and the snap-on bomb pack, which is referring to this crazy thing on his head, on his back. And it's Zoar, or as I say, Zoar, the Fighting Falcon. Underneath, beautiful illustration, same ones we got before. Copyright 1982, Mattel, made in Taiwan. And on the back, the much beloved and classic Masters of the Universe logo with all that flying red meteors or whatever that is. And on a side note, on the inside of the box, there's this red insert right here. I actually made this myself. The original insert to the box was missing, and it was just the plain cardboard in the background, and it looks ugly without it. So instead, I just kind of made my own red insert. And I threw it on the inside, and also provides some extra support for this box. This box is like dirt old, so it's like very fragile and flimsy. So for me, adding this red cardboard insert on the inside not only like spruces it up, but also adds some rigidity and some strength to the box. On the back, so here's some of the figures that were out during this wave. Collect these Masters of the Universe figures and accessories. Figures sold separately, and they're measured at 5.5 inches. We have Man-E-Faces, the Heroic Human, Robot Monster. We have Ram Man, Heroic Human, Battering Ram. Trapjaw, evil and armed for combat. We have Triclops, evil and sees everything. And we have the Attack Tracks, the Battle Machine. This is a cool vehicle. I always wanted it as a child. I never had it growing up. And I always remember that it looked very different in the cartoon. In the cartoon, the Attack Track, it looked more like a minivan, or an old like 70s or 80s conversion van that just had like tank treads. It's very weird looking. But I think in the new Revelation cartoon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they actually went back to the OG toy design. And you do see the Attack Track, I believe, in the new Revelation cartoon. Alright, so for Zoar, you push to make his wings flap. And here's his little bomb pack. This is how to assemble it, and then you put it onto his back. And then he comes with this little perch. Now, even though he comes with this bomb pack, I believe it doesn't really do anything. It's just more so armor for the bird. It doesn't function in any sort of way. Alright, let's take Zoar, or Zoar, as I call him, out of his cardboard prison. Alright, so this falcon, it's very... The history of this character and this design is very confusing for me. Like for me, as a child, I best know the falcon as the alternate form of the sorceress. So if you remember during the 80s cartoon, the sorceress, she's like confined to Castle Grayskull. And while she's in Castle Grayskull, she retains a very humanoid form. And she could leave Castle Grayskull, but when she does leave Castle Grayskull, she can't leave Grayskull as a human. That's why she transforms into this falcon. But the sorceress in the cartoon, when she transforms into the falcon, she doesn't have these armor pieces on. Let me see if I can remove it. So the sorceress in the cartoon, when she leaves Grayskull, she just looks like this, Hence the same kind of color scheme as the sorceress. But the toy comes with this. It's described as being a bomb pack. It's just kind of this armor for the falcon. Whoops. Did I do that right? Let me see if I could get this back on. Put this on the tail, I believe. Right, I don't want to wreck this. It's a very old toy. Alright, let's hold this in place. This goes here. Slide this over the head. Alright, there we go. Alright, so one thing I tried to do some homework on Zoar to understand the character a little bit better, and I was even more confused than ever. So depending on which version of the fiction you're into, so Zoar, outside the cartoon, I think in the comic book, Zoar is like it's like a male being, I believe, and I'm not sure how this relates to the falcon. But I don't know. Just know that the Zoar falcon is different than the sorceress, depending on the fiction you read. In the cartoon, the falcon by itself is essentially the sorceress, just a different form. But in other fictions, this thing is a completely different, separate entity than the sorceress. So yeah, I'm confused on it. If you could clarify it, just feel free to comment down below. It's like one of those things that I was trying to read up on, and it gave me a headache. Right, so in terms of this thing's play feature, as described earlier, the wings flap. There's a lever here. You just pull on it, and then the wings flap. Pretty neat. And then here's the perch for Zoar. The talons are kind of splayed out, and you just put it on there. Whoops. It stands better if you just leave it flat, but my thing's... Alright, there you go. Alright, just to give you a heads up, this table is not flat. It's actually slanted, so... Alright, so if you hunt this guy down on eBay and stuff, you'll find that the wings, they're always going to be warped. They're always going to be flopping down like this. They might not even be level with one another. One wing might be drooping further down than the other. So what I did to alleviate that is that I took a metal tray or metal sheet, and then I just filled it up with really hot water, and I took Zoar up, placed him upside down, and submerged the wings in the hot water. And since he was upside down and he's on his back, the wings remain flat. And then the hot water, it kind of resets the plastic. And then, once this cooled down, the wings kind of remained back in the neutral position. So it's good as new. So if you ever see one of these online, pretty cheap, but the wings look kind of messed up, take a gamble on it, because it's an easy fix. Like I said, just take a tray of hot water, place him flat on his back, make sure the wings are flat. And then as soon as it cools down, you can remove them, and then the wings will be back to good as new. Also, if you're hunting this guy down on eBay, last I checked, some of the prices seem pretty reasonable. I saw them as cheap as $18, and as high as maybe is like 40. So it just depends on how complete you want them. You know, if you just want the Falcon by itself without the armor and without the perch, you know, you could probably get it for pretty cheap. If you want it complete, you know, be prepared to pay a little bit more for it. But I do think this is an excellent accessory. Let me grab Origins He-Man so you can get an idea of the scale. Alright, so here's the new Masters of the Universe Origins He-Man. As you can see, it's a great scale to this action figure. And I think it's this is worth hunting down. I'm not sure if this is on Mattel's radar for like an updated version. And if you know if there isn't one coming in the near future, you know, it might be worth hunting down the old one. Just be sure that, you know, if you hunt one down on eBay, just make sure it's, you know, it's nice. You know, you don't want one that's like completely wrecked. Make sure the talons are intact. You know, make sure the toes aren't broken. If the wings are kind of floppy, like I said, you could kind of fix that. In terms of cleaning it, I'd suggest maybe like a mild soap with like a toothbrush if you need to clean out the feathers. The perch here, mine was really warped and bent, and I was able to alleviate that by, again, using hot water. Hot water softened up this plastic, and I was kind of able to bend it back into place. So yeah, great accessory. You know, if you have the new version of Sorceress in the Origins line, I think this would be a great piece to complement her. Or even if you have Castle Grayskull and you want, you know, Zoar for Castle Grayskull, you know, this is, again, a great addition for that. All right, so if I had to like rate this figure on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, by yesterday's standards, you know, if this was like 1982, I'd probably give this thing like an 8 or a 9. By today's standards, the figure engineering is very, very basic, very, very simplified. You know, if you got this for a decent price on eBay, you know, for example, if you got it in the condition I have it right here, I'd say it's worth, you know, a good solid 8 to 8.5. Even though it's a much older action figure and it's very dated, I do think that it looks nice enough that you can still display it with the Origins figures. It's, you know, even though the articulation is completely absent besides the wings, aesthetically it just looks really nice. It'd be a great companion piece, like I said, to Grayskull or the Sorceress. So if this is something that interests you, you know, I think it is worth hunting down. It's awesome. All right, so let's close this video out. Once again, my name is Lou. Thank you so much for checking this video out. I greatly appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for your continued likes, comments, and support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, take care of yourself, be safe, most importantly, be happy, and I'll see you at the next video. All right, I'll talk to you later.